Have you ever wondered what would happen if you took My Life as Inukai-san's dog, cranked up the ecchi, and threw it into a fantasy world? No? Well, someone did, and the result is Beheneko, the anime that answers the question nobody asked. I mean, who looks at a cat and thinks, you know what this needs? It needs to be an S-ranked monster that gets constantly groped by an elf girl. Well, apparently, these mad lads did. And you know what? It's so ridiculous, it's kind of brilliant in a, I can't believe I'm actually watching this kind of way. So, have we got the lewdest anime of 2025 already, or is this another cringe fest that fell way short of the mark? Alright, so you thought you'd seen it all with isekai. Well, hold my beer, says Beheneko. This show is like someone took the entire isekai genre, shook it up and said, let's make this weird. I mean, this anime does throw all those classic isekai tropes in there, and you can really tell straight away by its title, which is, I'm an S-rank behemoth monster, but I'm living as a pet of an elf girl. Now, I usually look at these long titles and I run far, far away, but this one actually piqued my interest, as well as the hot elf girl, but don't judge me because I know you thought the same. So what's this one all about? Well, a knight dies and comes back as a cat, but not just any cat. This little furball is actually an S-ranked monster. And I've got to say, as someone who is a huge fan of cats, I was down with this premise. Early on, you can see the typical isekai setup, but I'll be honest, I'm really not here for the isekai stuff. I've been there and done that 1,000 times. I know you guys have as well. I'm here for one thing only. And you know what that is, because, well, you're the same as me. A degenerate. Anyway, so our boy reincarnates and he's like testing out his powers till he gets himself in a little bit of trouble. Luckily for him, he is rescued by an extremely hot elf girl with a rack that will make even Uzaki-chan blush. I'm not kidding, those things are massive. Like, they're so big they've got their own area code. She nurses him back to health, lets him use her chest as a bed, and adopts him as her new pet. And potentially one day something much more, but we'll dive into that aspect in a little bit. The bottom line is that all of the maxed out skills and powers this behemoth cat has gained since reincarnating, you bet that the best of the bunch was his luck stat, no question. Now, there's only 2 episodes out at the time of this video's making, but the whole thing is, well, it's so ridiculous. It's actually kind of awesome how ridiculous it is. Like I said, it's one of those I can't believe I'm watching this, but I can't look away anime. Sure, there's a story in there somewhere, and they are doing the whole isekai thing for sure, but like I said, I don't care for that. I'm here for something more. Yes, the smoking hot elf girl who's all booba and all so crazy. So let's talk about Aria. Yeah, this elf girl is something else, I swear. At first glance, you'd think she's just another fantasy babe, right? Wrong. So wrong. This girl is thirstier than a camel in the Sahara, and I am not talking about water. Aria's got a, well, let's call it a fascination with Tama, the cat. And by fascination, I mean she can't keep her hands off him. It's weird, it's uncomfortable, and, well, it's kind of hilarious. I mean, who looks at a cat and thinks, yeah, that's husband material? Well, Aria, apparently. You know how most anime heroines are all shy and blushing, or maybe they're a lot tsundere and can't admit their feelings? Not Aria. No, this girl's got no brakes. She's like a runaway train of horniness, and Tama's strapped to the tracks. What I really like is that the series doesn't hold back either, as the entire show seems to be a little more than an excuse to show off Aria's, well, boob-arm. And this is at every possible opportunity, and boy does it take every opportunity, which I love about these anime. I really do. I love it so much. I mean, seriously, other than Tama, our reincarnated knight, using them as his bed or chair nearly constantly, they get an awful lot of screen time. And a lot of the time, it's like the animators looked at physics and said, nah, we're good. This gets 10 million points from me. But hey, maybe there's more to Aria than just being horny on main, right? Maybe she's got hidden depths. Well, kinda. There is a bit of a backstory thrown in there, but let's be real, we're not here for Aria's tragic past or her hopes and dreams. We're here for the fan service, and the series delivers by the truckload. So yeah, is Aria a deep and complex character? No. Is she entertaining as hell to watch? Yeah, You bet she is. She's the elf girl with zero chill, and she's here to make sure you pray to every god out there that you get reincarnated as her cat when Truck-kun finally takes you out. But if there's something more, let's talk about deja vu, because if you're watching Beheneko and thinking, wait, haven't I seen this before? Well, you're not going crazy. It's basically Inukai-san's dog, but someone decided to crank it up and throw it into a fantasy world. If you look at them, both shows have this whole dude gets reborn as a pet thing going on. In Inukai's dog, the guy becomes a dog. In Beheneko, our boy's a cat. Well, technically he's an S-ranked monster that looks like a cat, but you get what I mean. And both of these poor saps end up with owners who are, well, let's say, very hands-on. But Beheneko, it's like they saw Inukai-san and went, challenge accepted, bro. They took the basic idea and they just went wild with it. It's got all the stuff that made Inukai-san, well, interesting. You know, those awkward bath scenes that make you want to look away, but you can't. The constant petting that's definitely not just petting. The whole, is this okay to watch kind of vibe? It's all down. But it's not a straight up copy, you know? Beheneko's got its own thing going on. For starters, it's set in this crazy fantasy world. So instead of just dealing with a horny owner, our cat boy's got to deal with monsters and magic and all that jazz. It's got more action, more crazy stuff happening, and somehow it's got even more fan service. I didn't think that was possible, but here we are. High Dive also have the uncensored version airing over there, just like it did for Inukai and last year's Gushing Over Magical Girls. So I just want to give them a quick shout out, you know, for doing God's work. They know how to treat us well during these cold and bleak winter months, that's for sure. But now the big question. Which one does it better? I like this, it's kind of like a fan service showdown. For me, well, let me tell you, it's a close call. It's still early days for this anime, but I've checked out some of the manga and that is very, very spicy. So I'll let you be the judge of this one. I will say, just like Inukai's dog, we are getting more girls added to the mix, joining Arya and Tama, and they look like they're going to be equally as thirsty as Arya, which excites me more than a cat in a room full of catnip. Episode 2 introduced us to Vulcan, a tiger girl blacksmith who's not only wearing all the right things to show off the good stuff, but she's also out here pleasing the fans of buff girls. What she's packing in the chest, she's also packing in the guns, and just like our girl Arya, well, there seems to be a naughtier side to her waiting to be unleashed, which I am here for all day long. Also, from the PV and outro of the anime, it looks like we have plenty more top tier girls to come, who I can safely bet will have their own quirks and quality fan service moments ready for our viewing pleasure. And I gotta say, I don't know if I'm alone here, but I always tend to find that the winter season is always the lewdest of the year. And I will say, Beheneko looks set to be the standout ecchi title this season, and maybe even the year, depending on where it goes next. It's a show that knows what it's all about and doesn't hold back. Sure, it throws in the isekai guidebook at times, but deep down it knows that it's an anime all about fan service, and it does not shy away from that. So I think it's safe to say, if you don't like fan service, or if you didn't enjoy Inukai's dog, this one is not for you at all. But for those low-level degenerates like myself, well, I think this one is exactly what you want to watch. But there are other top-tier new anime airing this winter 2025 season that you do not want to miss out on. So check out this video here where I go over some of the best that need to go on your watch lists. I'll see you over there. Till then, take care. Peace, peace.